Hi guys, in this video you will learn how to set up a Google form for assessments such as tests or quizzes, and I will go through each of the different question types found in Google Forms so that you are able to familiarize yourself with them and choose the ones that best satisfies your test or quizzes needs. To get started, you must click on the app launcher icon on the top right corner of your screen. Then find the Google Forms app and click on it. Once there, you will choose blank quiz. Once it opens, you want to name your assessment. Once you have named your assessment, you can then change the theme by clicking on this customizable theme button up here. And you can choose an image. You can choose from the themes that are already provided here. You can upload your own image, or you can take photos that you have saved in order to add them into your assessment. I'm going to choose a science header since this is a science assessment, and I'm going to insert. You will notice that the background color will also change depending on the colors of the header in order to match the header. And if you don't like that color, you can certainly change it to one of these other colors here. Or you can customize your own color by clicking the plus button here and add a custom color. And then adding that color in. But I'm going to leave it bright and yellow. You can also change the font style. You have the option between 4 different fonts. And once you are done setting up your theme and your header and your colors, you can close the theme options. And now we can get started on our quiz or assessment. The first thing that we will go over are the options that you see here on this side menu. And the very first option is to add a question. So when I click here, it's going to allow me to add a question. And as you can see, it added one here, even though one was already provided at the beginning of the quiz. And so you can delete the previous one. And the very first question that I like to add in all my assessments is student name. And this will be a short answer type of question. It will be required. You want to definitely turn this on to make sure that students respond to this question. And you don't have to add any points, although you may add extra points if you would like. The next feature that you have here is to import questions. So this feature will allow you to import questions from previous quizzes that you might have saved under your drive, or maybe you have a quiz that you have collaborated with or that someone has shared with you, and you might want to import some of the questions from that quiz into this one. And when you click on it, it'll open up all the forms that you have saved on your drive. I am going to import some questions or a question from this previous quiz that I have used before. And for now, I'm going to import the question for their last name, just as practice. Although I could import any other question from this quiz or multiple questions from or sections from this quiz. But for now, I'm only going to import the last name question, which is also a short answer. So once I click on import questions, it'll import that question here. And you will see it is also a short answer and it is also required. For assessments, I also like to add some type of directions for students to follow. So there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can type that in under the title. So I have placed here the directions. Please answer the questions in sections 1 through 5. Or you can use the third option here, which will allow you to add text so that students are able to see it. And that way they are aware that there is directions that they must follow in order to complete this assessment. But in this case, I'm only going to use the directions underneath the assessment title. So I'm going to delete this, but that option is there for you. You also have the option to add an image. So if I wanted to add an image here, I can do that, and I could upload from my computer, from my camera, by URL, Photos, Google Drive, or I can do a Google image search. But I already have an image that I would like to upload, so I'm going to find it on my computer. And it is a banner, and I can add a title to it, but I will not in this case. I will just leave it here at the top before the first and last name. The next option you have is to insert a video, and the only videos that are allowed to be inserted are YouTube videos. So you can search a YouTube video, or if you have the URL, you can copy and paste it here and it'll search it for you. So I'm going to search a solar system video for my students to review before they take the quiz. And once I search, I will find the video that I would like to insert and select it. And as you can see, it'll appear here. I can then center align it, or I could change it or remove it. And I'm going to type in some instructions here as well. I want them to watch the following video before working on the assessment questions. The last option that we have on our side menu, which is very useful, is to add sections. And so you want to do this is if a quiz is very long, or you want to break down the quiz into smaller sections, especially for younger students. This is very helpful so they don't get overwhelmed with the long list of questions. In order to insert a section, you want to click on the question before, or the section before you want to insert that particular section, and then click on Add Section. So as you can see here, it's going to add a section right after my title, and it automatically sets it to continue to next section. But if I want to make sure that it goes to this very first section, which is going to be the introduction, the video introduction, I will click on this drop-down arrow and make sure to click that after they see the title and the instructions, they will go to section 2, video introduction. I will then add another section, and this section will be for their name. So this section is where they will type in their first and last name. And again, after they watch the video, it's going to continue to the next section. But if you want to make sure that it's going to go there, click on go to section 3, name. After I am done with the name section, I will add the next section, which will be section 1 of the quiz. And this will be for open-ended questions. I will include a description here under the title so that students know and can follow the directions. So in this section, I will ask them to pay attention to each of the question requirements so that they are able to tell whether the question will require one word and a one-word answer, or if it will require complete sentences to answer the question. After this, I'm ready to add my first question. So my first question will be a short answer type of question. I will type in my question. Once I type in my question, I want to add a description right underneath to let the student know if they will have to answer this question with just one word or a complete sentence. So I will do that by clicking on the 3-dotted menu here and checking off description. so that it opens the description field for me here. In the description section, I will include for the student to only type in one word to answer this question. So the question is, a natural satellite of a planet is called. I will make this question required, and then I will go to the answer key in order to select how many points this question is worth. And as you can see, I can add a correct answer here. So the correct answer to this question is moon. But I want to add moon in different ways so that depending on how the student types it in, whether it's all lowercase, all uppercase, or maybe just the first letter of the word moon is uppercase, it will still count it correct. So once I have entered the different ways that the student can type in the answer moon, I'm also going to check off to mark all other answers incorrect. I can add answer feedback here, which means that if a student gets this incorrect, they will be able to see more information as to why they got it incorrect and what the correct answer was. The feedback can include for students to take a look at a link or a video in order to get more information about what is a moon. You can add a link by clicking the link icon here, pasting the link for the article that you want students to go and take a look at, and as a text display for them to know that this is a link, you can add a title to the link. And when you add it, they will be able to see it as a link button. You can also add a YouTube video for them to watch a video that has more information about moon facts. You will then select the video that you want students to watch, and it'll also insert it as part of the feedback. You can save this, and so when students go back and review their quiz, once the grade is released, then they will be able to refer to this in order to see why they got this answer wrong, if they do get it wrong. Once you are done with this question, you can click done, and we can move on to the next type of question, which is a paragraph type of question. So I'm going to add a new question by clicking the plus sign here. I'm going to select paragraph, question, and I'm going to type in my question. Once I've typed in my question, I will also click on the three dotted menu here and check off description once more in order to give students instructions as to how I want them to answer this question. In the description, I have asked students to answer this question with at least one or more complete sentences. So I'm also going to make this question required. And in the answer key, you will notice that it will not give you the option to insert a correct answer like it did with the short answer question. All you can do is add answer feedback, which I will not in this case. So I will just add the number of points for this question, which is going to be 1, and I'm going to click done. When the student answers this question here, you will manually have to check their answer and give them the points if they earned them for answering this question correctly. And I will show you how to manually check this question in a future step in this tutorial. And this completes the open-ended question section. So I am going to add a new section for multiple choice types of questions. So this will be section 2 for my students, and this will be multiple choice questions. And I'll make sure that after the first section for open-ended, it jumps over to multiple choice questions, section 5. In this section, I will not add a description because it's pretty self-explanatory. Students will have to choose from the multiple choices. So I'm going to add a question, and the first question that I'm going to add is a multiple choice. I will type in my question. I will now type in the answer choices, which I want them to be true or false. And as you can see, it automatically inserted for me as soon as I typed in true for the second option. I will make this question required, and I will go into the answer key to set the number of points and to select the correct answer, which in this case, Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, so this makes it true. And I will click done. The next type of question will also be a multiple choice question, and since I already have that type of question here, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate. And as you can see, it has duplicated the question. It has even duplicated the settings, which is the required setting and the number of points for this question. I will then change the question itself and I will add the multiple choices. And as you can see, just like the previous question that I duplicated from, the correct answer was the very first choice. It has selected that same choice for this question. So I have to go into the answer key and deselect that answer because that is not the correct answer. And the correct answer here will be terrestrial planets. So I will select that as the correct answer and click done. So as you can see, you can save some time here. If you are only going to be using multiple choice type of questions, you can save some time by duplicating each question and then just changing the question itself, the answer choices, and the correct answer. The next type of question that we will add is going to be a checkbox question. And with this type of question, you can actually have multiple correct answers to where students can either gain 1 point for each answer choice that they get correct, or they will have to get all the answer choices correctly in order to be able to get that 1 point. So in this case, the question will be, which of the following statements are facts about Mercury? And I have even given the students a hint as to that there is more than one correct answer. So they will know that they will have to check off more than one of these as a fact about Mercury. So what you want to do then is, of course, make it required. Go into the answer key. This question is going to be worth 3 points in this case because I will give them 1 point for each fact that they identify correctly. And the correct facts are this choice, this one, and this one. And I will click done once I'm done. So for each of the facts that they identify correctly, they will get 1 point each. The next type of question that you can add is a drop-down menu type of question. In this case, I want students to drop down a menu and fill in the blank for Earth is the blank planet from the sun. So as you can see here, it's already giving me a suggested correct answer, but this is not the answer that I want to fill in for my blank. The answer choices are going to be first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth, because I want the students to be able to identify or fill in the blank with the correct order for the position of the Earth in the solar system. I will then make this question required. Again, go into the answer key, select 1 point for this question, and select the correct answer, which is third. Earth is the third planet from the sun, and click done. Now I will add another section for the next type of question, which will be a file upload. So this will be section 3 of the assessment, and it will be a file upload. I will give the students description as to what I want them to do in this section of the assessment. I want students to read the question and upload an image to answer the question. So I will add a new question. It's going to be a file upload. I will click continue to allow for students to respond with an uploaded file from Drive or from their computer. And I will type in the question. So students will use drawing and coloring materials to sketch the sun and 9 planets in order. They will then take a picture of their solar system sketch and upload the file here. I will only allow specific types of files, so I will turn this button on, and I only want them to upload an image. It'll be a maximum of 1 image, and the maximum file size will be 100 megabytes, which should be enough for the image. I will make this a required question, and on the answer key, I will add the number of points, which will be 1. Then click done. This is another type of question that you will manually have to check. I will then add a new section, section 4, and this will be for linear, scale, and grid questions. I will make sure that after the file upload section, it'll go to this next section, and I will add my first question here, which will be a linear scale. And a linear scale uses numerical values from 1 all the way through 10, but I'm only going to go from 1 all the way up to 9 because of the 9 planets. And I will type in my question. And on the left side of the scale, where the 1 starts, that will be closest. And on the far end of the scale, where the 9 will be on the right-hand side, that will be the farthest. So Pluto is the blank planet from the sun. So they will see a linear scale from 1 through 9, and on one end they will see closest, and on the other end, on the right-hand side, they'll see farthest. I will make this required. I will go into the answer key, select 1 point, and again, this is a type of question that you will manually have to check. Then click done. And then we will go on to the next type of question, which will be a multiple choice grid. I will type in my question, which will be for students to select the correct order of each planet in the solar system. So below on the rows side, I will enter each of the planet names, and under columns, I will enter the order numbers from first all the way through 9th. Once I have entered my rows and columns, I will then make this question required, and I will go into the answer key. I will select the answer for each of these options. So for each planet, I will enter what order in the solar system they are located in, and I will add 1 point for each of these that they get correct. Then I will click done. And this is what the multiple choice grid will look like. So it'll have on the left-hand side each of the planets, and they will have to select the order for each of the planets. The next type of question will be a checkbox grid. So just like the checkbox question that we added earlier, the checkbox grid will allow for students to check off more than 1 correct characteristic for each of the planets that I will add here. And you can assign that for each of the characteristics that they get correctly, they will get 1 point, or they will have to identify all characteristics for each planet in order to get that 1 point for that planet. So the question here is for the students to check off all the correct characteristics for each of the planets that I will list below. And I have even given them a hint that each planet will have more than 1 characteristic to check off. So it will look something like this. Under the rows, I will insert 4 different planets, and under columns, I will insert different characteristics of the planets. I will make this question required, And in the answer key, I will make sure to select all the characteristics that apply for each planet. So in order for the student to get the Earth part correct and to earn 1 point, they will have to select all 3 characteristics for planet Earth correctly to earn 1 point. It'll be the same for Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn. I will now add the last section of this assessment, which will be section 5. Date and time questions. So the first question will be a date question, which will be what day did we celebrate Earth Day this year? I will make this question required, and on the answer key, I will make it worth 1 point. And as you can see, it won't allow you to insert the correct answer. So this will be another question that you will manually have to check. I will click done, and I will add the last question, which will be a time question. At about what time does the sun set? So again, you will make this a required question. You will go into the answer key. I will set it at 1 point. And this is another question that will not allow you to preset the right answer. Therefore, you will have to manually check it. Once you're done, you click done. And that is it for the different types of questions.